don't see the minor leagues. I don't watch the minor leagues. They're not on television. I go off what I see from a guy. And we're talking spring training at-bats. Like Casey Schmidt, I saw like 9 spring training at-bats. And you're trying to formulate an opinion. You can't get a real opinion on who a ball player is off of 9 at-bats, right? You got to watch this guy for a month or two at minimum. And even then, it might be a hot month. But like Pat Bailey, I was like, he's hitting way higher than all of his averages in the minors. Is this an aberration? What's going on? And he had a great year last year. He tapered off, but defensively, you could see, I mean, he's a stud. But the picture you just sent me, I mean, FB, it looks like he ate someone.
Well,
I mean, no, I'm going to call it what it is. As someone who's got the Irish triple chin, who has been trying to get rid of it forever, I have the turkey jowl underneath my chin. Whew, my guy's not looking svelte.
Well, it'd be a bigger target for the pitchers to throw to, and pitchers will tell you they like a nice big target back there, but we'll see. Hey, I don't know. It's just one pitcher. I got to get down there. I'm going down there in a couple of weeks, hanging out for a minute.
Old Scottsdale?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the hotel, some swanky new hotel that used to be where Don and Charlie's was.
Okay.
Right on that property.
The old Salt still there?
Doing some radio
or is
games.
It the Salt Box?
I'm super excited about the new coaching staff, so I got to get down there and say hi to everybody.
Why is that? You're excited because it seems like to me, Giants fans, and I'm actually very optimistic. Oh, I'm also a baseball weirdo, so I'm optimistic in general. But why are you excited for the Giants this year?
Because we have Giants coaching Giants. We have people that realize the importance and what it means to wear the uniform, that have been there and done that in the uniform, in the history of the organization, and just what it means. So when you have Bob Melvin, who played for the Giants, and Matt Williams and Pat Burrell, guys that wore the uniform. Pat's won a World Series. He can talk about that. He's won a couple of World Series, one in Philadelphia and one with the Giants. So when you have guys with resume and credential that know what it means to wear that uniform, and they're baseball guys, and you have Giants that are baseball guys that I can pick their brain on a plane and talk about, like, what was it like in 2010 when you guys were on that epic playoff run and you won a championship? What did it feel like? And now you can talk to guys about their experience when, even though the last staff was really cool and a lot of great guys, Kai Correa was awesome, the whole staff was really cool, a bunch of wonderful human beings, that aspect wasn't there for them. That resource wasn't there. Like, hey, Joe, what's it like at 95.7? You've been here for so many years, and what's it like broadcasting at this station? I'm new here. But if it was another guy filling in, I wouldn't have that opportunity to pick his brain.
That's a good point. I just always look at, like, and you make a good point about the Giants, and I know that they like to have their guys, and they want old Giants. Bochy wasn't a Giant. You know what I mean? Ron Wotus and Flannery and those guys weren't Giants, but they became Giants over a long period of time.
Right.
You know, they did. They became Giants. But I would say this. Bochy did have the San Diego connection from his playing days, so understood what that old Western Division and coming up to San Francisco was all about. Like, I still have his little backup card, his 1986 Donruss card, I believe. So I get it. I get where you're coming from. To me, it's kind of like, I feel like the Giants are doing everything they can to try to make me care about the team, when I've tried to tell them the only thing that I care about is I just want to see young players. That's all I want to see. I want to see what this youth movement is going to look like, because you've been telling me about this team for 6 years. 6 years I've been waiting to see a young player. Really? What is Matt Duffy the last impact young player that they've had? I'm trying to think, like, am I missing somebody? Can you FB, can you think of who the last, like, good young player to join the team was?
Pat Bailey.
Okay, last year, which I would agree.
And Casey Schmidt has potential if he can command the strike zone a little bit better and not swing at everything.
I like Casey Schmidt.
I do too.
I love his glove.
I like him a lot. He's just kind of like a lab that if you throw a ball, he's going to run after the ball all day until he dies of exhaustion.
That's true.
He's just a fun kid to be around. But getting back to, like, I want to see baseball, Joe. I want to see my favorite player, if I'm driving from Sacramento to see a game, have 4 at-bats and 5 at-bats. I want to see a starting pitcher be a starting pitcher. I want to see a closer be a closer. I don't want to see a closer start the game. I don't want to see a starting pitcher come in the 3rd inning. I don't want to see my favorite player get pinch hit for in the 4th inning. But I guess this is hard. It's hard. I used to say that at the old station. Yeah. It's hard to wrap your arms and fall in love with math. No. Like, nobody ever, like, math class. Oh my God, I'm so in love with math class. Let's go to math. What are you doing tomorrow? Let's go to the park and do math. maybe those people have way better looking bank accounts than I have right now, but like nobody ever fell in love with math. And I think if baseball gets too mathy and too analytically driven, that Giants fans don't like that.
No.
Dude. Giants fans are passionate, hardcore, smart fans that bring their lunch pails and their hard hats to the game, and they want to see a guy hit a double and pump his fist.
Yes.
They want to see passion. There's a lot of guys that play consistent for the Giants. They don't show a lot of emotion. They're very stoic. If I'm a fan, I'm paying money, whether it's the Warriors, whether it's the Niners, whether it's the Giants, no matter what team I'm rooting for, I want to see a guy having fun playing the game.
Fred Warner, Steph Curry.
I want to see guys show emotions if they hit a double, pump a fist, and drop a F yeah on second base. I want to see a guy just playing hard and loving what he does and showing me the emotion that I have as a fan. And when you talk about the Giants players, they all have more talent on their pinky finger than I ever had. So let me preface it with that. And I wish I had half of the careers they've had. But if you look around the diamond, whether it was Brandon Crawford, who we all love, whether it's J.D. Davis at third, whether it's Mike Yastrzemski, or you just go around Lamont Wade Jr.
No personality.
There's not a lot of emotion
None.
there. They play a consistent brand, no high highs, no low lows, no roller coaster all-stars. It's just they play a certain pulse of the game. And I think when we talked about this on the phone last night, I think in any sport, you need a jerk on your team. You need a guy that's going to ruffle some feathers. You need a guy that's going to show some emotions. You need a guy that's not going to go out there and care if he makes friends with the other team. That's going to like kind of keep everybody in check and police the clubhouse with like, Joe, that was BS last night. You had a fly ball to center field. Yesterday, you had a fly ball to center field. You didn't even get to first base. It's a day game at Oracle Park. There's wind, there's sun. He dropped it, and you didn't even get to first. Like, you need to be on second. And you need somebody in the clubhouse, and I don't even know if that exists in today's game because everybody gets so offended, and they're going to go suck their thumb in the fetal position in the corner if you get on them. But every team needs a couple of guys like that. And when you have one of too many, if you have a bunch of jerks,
a bunch of alphas,
terrible.
San Diego.
If you have a bunch of flatliners, terrible.
Yeah.
You need a nice mix of the two. So I'm hoping that happens for this team this year. I don't know anything about Jorge Soler, but like, I love the way he goes about it.
Well,
swing hard in case you hit it.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Hit it far.
Yeah, health is the problem with him. The back and a bunch of other things. I mean, he was a monster for Atlanta. He's been a monster for the Marlins when he's healthy. It's a very simple equation. FP, you brought up a couple things there that are like I want to pick your brain on. First and foremost, when I look at the teams that are killing it right now, think of the attitudes that they have, the way they play the game. Atlanta Braves, Ozzie Albies, and Ronald Acuna Jr. And those aren't the only guys. They've got other guys. Matt Olson can get a little chippy at times. Like he likes to talk smack in his own little way. You know what I mean? But they have a particular way of playing the game. There's an exuberance that I appreciate. Houston Astros. I mean, when I watch Altuve and when I watch Bregman, there's an arrogance to the way they play the game, and then you get Yordan Alvarez in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the way these guys conduct at-bats, play in the field, there's just a vibe that they have, and I don't see that with the Giants.
Greatness and the attitude that greatness has is you're playing me, I'm not playing you.
It's a great way.
You have to step up to my level and play me. The Niners had that.
Yes.
The Warriors had that.
Yes.
Early in the season, they were searching for that. All of a sudden, the Warriors were playing whoever they're playing. It used to be you're playing us, bro, and step up to our level to beat us. They're getting back to that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're a championship caliber team right now, but the way they're playing, I think they've won 8 of their last 10. They're one game over 500.
Yep.
They're trending in the right direction. They have swagger back. They're playing with energy. They're actually playing defense again. They're playing with a different level of confidence.
There's an edge.
I like the fact that Pajemski's starting now. Yeah. Like Steve Kerr's starting to, he's tinkered. Yeah. Now Clay's coming off the bench. He's embraced that role. We'll see how long he's in, air quotes, embraced that role. He had some really good quotes after the game. So any team in any sport, when you have that attitude that you're playing me and I'm not playing you and you have to step up to my level, that's where you get that confidence level. That's where you get that swagger. That's where you get that relaxation when you're not thinking, you're just playing. And right now the Warriors are doing that. The Niners did that all season long for the last couple of years. The Giants haven't had that in a while. I wasn't here in 2021 when they won 107 games, but they haven't had that swagger. They're just kind of playing.
Nobody believed in them, even until the final month of the season. It was like, we'll see. And then eventually, we're playing the Dodgers? We're all in. No one believed in that team, myself included. You know what I mean? You brought up, like, getting pinch hit for after a couple at-bats. Last year, Marco Luciano's debut I think he had 2 at-bats and was pinch hit in his third. His debut, you referenced driving from Sacramento. Someone drives from wherever, Livermore, Sacramento, San Jose, Monterey, to go watch Marco Luciano, who we've heard about for 5 years, and he's pinch hit in his third at-bat.
Yeah, young players have to play. If you're going to bring somebody up, they got to play.
100%.
Because you're trying to develop them at the highest level, and if you're going to platoon them, they've never platooned in their lives. They've played every day in the minor leagues.
100%.
They don't know what it's like to come off the bench. They don't know what it's like to sit on the bench. And I think if you play a brand of baseball where you're pinch hitting and playing the numbers consistently, no matter what the public line is, you're telling me that that guy's better than me right now in that situation. Even if it's like, hey, this is what we do. We do the platoon thing. We want you to buy in. We want you to drink the Kool-Aid. If you bring in a pitcher to get a guy out, you're telling me as a pitcher that you think that guy's better than me. Not because the numbers thing is what you tell the media.
With his slider, he gets this guy out in this particular. They don't want to hear.
And what happens is you start to beat down the competitive nature of the highest competitors in all of sports. If you get to the big leagues, you're the 1%er. Whether it's football, baseball, or basketball, 100%. You're the 1% of the 1%. And if you're consistently telling me that this guy's got a better chance of succeeding than I do, that just beats me down to where I used to throw my helmet and get pissed. I used to go back and break things in the tunnel because you pinch hit for me, and now it's okay. And then once I lose that edge, then all of a sudden you get a lot of players that are just kind of going out there and playing. And you get a lot of players that are looking over their shoulder, Joe, like, when am I coming out of this game? Or am I playing? Oh, I'm in the starting lineup, but does the starting lineup mean anything anymore?
No.
Because it's just the first 3 innings. And then you get that mentality as a team where now we're just kind of zombies and we're letting the manager treat us like a chess piece and not realize that there's actually people inside of the uniform. There's human beings that have emotions just like we all do in those uniforms. And once you lose that emotion, once you lose that competitive nature, you get a 500 team.
So then I guess, like, this has been my big thing from the get-go. They hire Bob Melvin, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, right, you go in a completely different direction from Gabe Kapler, right? But if the guy at the charge, Farhan Zaidi, the reason why he was hired was to usher them into a new era of baseball. Now, the shift wasn't banned when he came in, and obviously there's been clock rules and there's been changes regarding you have to have 3 batter minimums. Like, there's been some changes that were not here before he showed up. And so I always question, like, well, how are his principles going to adjust and evolve? Now that you have Bob Melvin, why should I believe that the platooning is going to go away? Why should I believe in this Giants team that they're actually going to allow these young players to play an extended period of time? Just because you switched out the manager, doesn't the GM still have his imprint on things? Isn't he still making 2 times what the manager's making? Like, these are, I guess, the questions that a lot of Giants fans have. Like, why should I feel that anything is different this year just because you changed who was in the dugout making the decisions, if all the decisions come from up top? Does that make sense?
There's an up top above the up top, though, and the up top is ownership, and if ownership doesn't like the way things are going, then maybe things will change.
Do you think that? Because I think
I would guess yes.
Yeah, because I think a lot of Giants fans, like myself, I'll just talk for myself. I'm not as angry as everyone else. I didn't think there was a huge move for them to make, although I would still love to swing a trade for Pete Alonso or someone like that. Like, I'm all in on that decision. But, like, I look at their team, and I know I'm taking baby steps. They're marginally better than they were last year. But I like that you have at least carved out spots. I want to see if Luciano can play. I want to see Patrick Bailey for a full season. Hopefully he can slim down a little. I want to see
one pitcher, dude.
I want to see Tyro Estrada play a full season at second base. You know, I want to see what Jung-Hoo Lee looks like in center field. Like, those are positives to me. I've been waiting for some young guys. I want to see them. Now, will it dissipate after a month? I don't know. But I at least have some hope, I guess, is where I'm going. So I'm excited for Giants baseball, even though I know that the Dodgers look like juggernauts, even though I know there's an extra wild card spot and the Giants are going to be in the mix all year with that 7 wild card spots or 7 playoff spots. I'm excited, FB.
I'm always excited about baseball. I'm always excited about any sport at the beginning of the season. So, yeah, I'm fired up, too. They got a legit power hitter for the first time since – wait, who's the last Giant to hit 30 home runs a year? Oh, Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited about that. And I also know that it's about getting hot in September. And the greatest thing ever is going to see the Dodgers bow out in the first round again, even with all their offseason acquisitions and Shohei. and Freddie Freeman, and that's a good team, Mookie Betts, but whatever.
I mean, you have 3 of the top 7 players.
But imagine the pressure that's on them once they get to the postseason again. It's going to be an enormous amount. And if you're free and easy and you're the Giants, and who knows what a season holds, and who knows where this is going to go. But it's not. You don't win a World Series in December and January. So you will see a different brand of baseball. I will promise you this: you will see a different brand of baseball this year. Bob Melvin is going to do what Bob Melvin wants to do. And there's nobody that's going to tell him different. And if you watch the Padres, he's not a pinch hit for you in the 5th inning guy. He will play the analytics. He will play the matchups late in a game when his team's ahead or behind and try to win a game, however he manages. But like, there's not going to be what you've seen in the past. I would say that was 90% Gabe. And that's just how he believed the game. Like I talked to Gabe. That's how he believes the game should be. That's just his belief on how you win.
But what I don't understand, like Gabe played the game. How can he not understand what it's like to be Evan Longoria and get pinch hit for in the 4th inning? How can he not know what it's like to be a struggling young Luis Matos who gets called back up, goes 2 for 5, actually put on some good swings, and isn't in the lineup the next day? You know what I mean? Like, how does he not understand the psychology of being a ball player? That's the part that I never understood.
If you treat people like chess pieces, they're going to act like chess pieces. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a game of chess.
Gabe?
Well, I'm sure Gabe and Farham were married in the sense that's how they believe the game should be played based on the personnel that they have.
Gotcha.
I'm sure if you ask Gabe and Farham, they would tell you that if we had 9 studs, we'd run 9 studs out there every single day. And if we had 5 aces, we would run 5 aces out there every day. But they felt like based on the personnel they had, whether it was injuries or who they signed or didn't sign, that gave them their best chance of winning.
Yeah.
Sometimes in any sport, what gives you your best chance of winning isn't conducive to the players' mental health and players like feeling like they're a part of it.
Yes.
And then once you lose the players, whether it's in basketball and now all of a sudden I'm the 6th man and I used to be an all-star and I'm going to be a Hall of Famer, or whatever sport it is, once you lose and you dampen the players' will to compete for you. I asked Tony La Russa about managing one day because I wanted to get into managing. Yeah. And he said, FP, if you do ever manage, the biggest mistake that young managers make is they want to show everybody how smart they are. He goes, the thing you have to do first is get the players to want to play for you. And whether it's a football coach, an NBA coach, or a big league manager, you have to get the players to want to play for you. And then all your strategies and how you implement the game kind of fall into place. But those things fall into place based on, Joe, you want to play for me. And there was times when I would be out there thinking, I can't let Dusty down, man. Dusty was cool enough to tell me I was playing today.
Yeah.
He was cool enough to tell me to get sleep tonight because you're playing today. I got to go out and ball out for Dusty. Felipe, I had so much respect for Felipe that when I stepped on the field for Felipe Alou, I wanted to compete like he did. Felipe was a fierce competitor, played with his hair on fire.
He was your manager in Montreal.
That's in the minor leagues, the big leagues for 4 years. And he's the reason I'm sitting here talking to you right now. He gave me my opportunity. But like when you have a manager that motivates you just by when I'm out there in the heat of battle, I respect him so much that I want to give that extra effort on a Sunday day game, after a Saturday night game, after we got into town on Thursday night at 3 a.m. and I'm dragging ass. And obviously the professional pride, you don't want to get embarrassed. But if you have a manager that you want to play for, I never question Dusty or Felipe. Dusty and Felipe made some of the weirdest moves I've ever seen in my life. Pinch hitting a lefty against a lefty, and it worked. And you're like, what is he doing? Or Dusty would throw Charlie Hayes up there against a righty.
Charlie Hayes,
hitting
number
200,
13.
and Charlie would get a double in the gap with the game on the line. You're like, what are you doing right now?
Sam has no idea who Charles Hayes. You have no idea who Charlie Hayes is. Caught the game-winning World Series out of bounds, or not out of bounds, foul territory ball for the Yankees.
But you never, yes. Yeah, and he did the high step.
Was a Rocky for a minute. Yeah. I mean, Charlie Hayes, when I close my eyes, oh my God, the memories.
But the point is, like, when you buy into the manager himself or the coach himself, I guess at any level, even you're working with kids right now.
Oh my God.
They're not gonna question all your moves because they respect you and you motivate them and they want to play.
You have no idea about 12-year-olds.
And if it's a weird move, you might scratch your head. But on the other side of that, if you don't respect the manager or you don't respect the coach, and then they make weird moves, you're like, what is he doing? This guy has no clue, because he has no clue on how to be a people person. He has no clue how to motivate you. It's not about him. It's about us. As a player, it's our time to shine. And if it's a manager that played in the big leagues and he wants all the attention it's not his time, it's our time.
Man.
And so like Joe Madden and guys like that, they wear out their welcome, even though I love Joe Madden, but he's a top step manager.
He has to prove he's the smartest guy in the room with everything he says.
And that
am I wrong?
Well,
that's my diagnosis of him from afar.
That applies in everything in life. Like in any job, everybody has somebody that thinks they're the smartest guy in the room. And that's why I'm so self-deprecating, maybe to a fault, because I have like a phobia of people like that, and I never want to come across as that. So I'll be like, what do I know? And say things like that. But you get the respect of your team first.
Yes.
And if Bob Melvin gets that, Kyle Shanahan has that, Steve Kerr has that.
Yes.
And if Bob Melvin gets that from his players, then if you make a weird move or two, whatever.
Yeah, but you've earned some equity.
You've earned some equity. Good point.
And no, but that's a great point. Like to your point on 12 or 13-year-olds, let me tell you, they will never listen to you no matter what you say, and they think you're an idiot no matter what. It's just good luck with that one.